Do I look like Noddy? Do you know Noddy?
You look like a dwarf.
Hi ho! Hi ho! Hi ho!
Well.
Sorry, wrong movie. Is that a Christmas movie? Snow White?
idea.
I'll deflate my point slightly. There we go.
Here we go.
The true meaning of Christmas.
And how to survive Christmas.
Ah, that's right. Yeah, absolutely.
So, well,
I'll let you go first.
let's just
See how
reflect.
gracious I am.
If I look back at Christmas in my family and when I grew up, maybe I should tell that story. I was scared of Santa Claus. I was really scared of Santa
Why were you scared of Santa Claus?
Because
Is he different in Germany?
Santa Claus has a little helper. I don't know what the name in English is. It's called Knecht Ruprecht. It's basically...
Can you say that again? What on earth was that? Slow it down a bit.
Knecht Ruprecht.
I'm going to try and say it. Could you slow it down a little bit?
Knecht Ruprecht.
Knecht Ruprecht.
Yes. So basically the story goes that if you don't behave properly, this helper of Santa is going to come and put you in a bag, and then he's going to
smack you
with his stick.
Oh, God.
So, please. In my family, we have had always beautiful, amazing, lots of kids around. And I grew up with 4 brothers, as most of you know. So, my auntie, she made it a point to really, really, really scare me.
Your auntie?
Yes, it's actually,
Was she a bit
family
of a sadist,
member.
is she?
No. Family member. Family member.
I see.
And
what did she say to you?
Basically, what happened, I remember one time Santa Claus, I know Santa is over, it was on the 5th or 6th of December, but
What do you
I
mean
was
Santa is over?
Santa Claus in Germany comes on the night of the 5th to the 6th.
God, he's really early, isn't he?
But that's Santa Claus, and then Christmas is different. It's like in Holland, the main celebration
I see. Right. Okay.
is Santa. It's not
Sorry.
necessarily
Okay,
Christmas.
so he comes earlier than the UK.
So,
Right.
and then I was hiding because I was so scared that this Knecht Ruprecht would come. So I was hiding under the sink in the kitchen from about, literally, this is not a joke, from about 2-3 o'clock in the afternoon until evening. And they were looking for me everywhere.
And they thought you'd been abducted.
They thought I had been just, what shall I say, disappeared.
Yeah.
So I was quietly sitting under the sink and hoping
How
that
old were you?
I must have been
14?
no.
15?
I wouldn't have fit under the sink.
I know, that's fine.
Definitely not.
Sorry, how old were you?
I think about maybe 4 or 5 years old.
Oh, poor
Maybe
little
6.
Thomas.
Yeah, I was quite traumatized by
Oh my
that.
gosh.
Anyway, so Santa Claus is very careful, you know. And I remember my brother, one of my brothers. Sorry, I've got a bit of a sore throat. Why do I have a sore
Some
throat?
water. One of your brothers.
Yes, we used to have a farmer next door, and we used to get the milk from the farm, fresh milk from the farm, every morning, early hours of the morning, and then early hours in the evening. So
Twice a day?
get fresh milk, you know.
That's so
And
good.
then I remember on Santa's Day, we sent off my brother with the little kettle, whatever it is, to collect the milk.
Milk
And
churn? I don't know.
and it was dark already. No, I'm gonna speed up. So it was dark already, and because it is a neighbor, he used his house shoes. So my brother didn't really wear any of his normal shoes. He was wearing the slippers, to go and get the milk. So here we are, my auntie, because she's been very cheeky, and she was hiding behind a corner So when my brother actually came, just very innocent, and he must have been 10, 11 or 12 years old, and then she was ringing the bell. And my brother got so scared, he threw the milk kettle or whatever it was in the corner. He lost his house shoes and he came running into the house and he said, oh my God, Santa is after me. And that was really funny. So,
oh my God. And that's what traumatized
Santa.
You?
Well, it took me a little while to figure out that actually Santa appears in different shapes and forms. So where was I going to go? So the true meaning of Christmas, really. Yeah. So also I was an altar boy. So while I was an altar boy, I really enjoyed Christmas time because it's like I could smell the pine trees in the church and then all the lights and the nativity scene, and I used to play in the nativity scene. I was Jesus a couple of times. I don't know if that makes
in past lives.
No, in a nativity scene. So not that I am actually.
I was always the shepherd.
Oh, that makes.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I wonder why.
Because it's my family name. I don't know.
So.
While shepherds wash their socks by night, while seated on the ground.
Where does that song come from?
I don't know.
So and I don't consider myself being Christian. I consider myself to be a free spirit now, but I grew up in a Christian manner. My career as an altar boy didn't last very long, as you know, because I just tried the mass wine and ate the holy...
You drank the communion wine.
Yeah, I was just, you have to try it. And then once I got caught, that was the end of my career as an altar boy. So, coming back to true spirit
now I
of
understand
Christmas.
Why you were so scared that Santa was going to tell you off now.
See, it makes all sense.
It does make sense.
So for me, it is like, I don't know for you, but it is like the spirit of coming together. It's about family. It's about, what else? Just remembering people that we love. Also, I believe that it should not be just limited to Christmas time. I don't know. What do you think?
I mean, I really like the message that I feel is in the Charles Dickens story of Christmas. It's a Christmas Carol, isn't it? With Scrooge, this really miserly, mean, unhappy man, and he's given a second chance. So for me, Christmas, I suppose, is also about transformation. It's about realizing that nothing is set in stone, and that every moment is a chance to unlearn who you are and create something new. So I like it for that reason.
It is also about, isn't it also about taking stock of sort of, because it is this time of the year, you reflect back on the year that just gone by, and then it's about taking stock of where you are, where you have been. It's about forgiving ourselves and forgiving others.
I'm not good at forgiving myself.
Why is that?
Really hard. I don't know. It just doesn't come naturally. But I agree with you. I think that's a theme of Christmas that could really be talked about more. There's a lot of emphasis on forgiving others. And that's wonderful, and I like that message, but we don't talk much about forgiving ourselves. We kind of miss that point.
Definitely. And as we forgive ourselves, it will help us to become a better version of ourselves.
And forgive other people.
But yes. So also, if you think about it, so what does Christmas mean? It's just the birth of Christ, in quotation mark. For me, it's about remembering Christ consciousness. What is Christ consciousness or God consciousness? It is that awareness that in essence we are one. In essence we are light. In essence we are that kind of pure essence that is made out, that makes up every aspect of creation. And around Christmas in particular, especially because yesterday was the solstice, and we had some very, very strong energies coming in. It's also about aligning with that Christ energy, or that energy of source, that Christed energy, bringing that energy back into our awareness. And how do we align it? Through our heart. So the heart is the gateway to align with that Christed energy. And think about it, it's about forgiveness, which is a heart aspect, giving to people,
Sure.
nurturing, nourishment.
So, let's say, for argument's sake, you know, I'm new to all of this, and you say, you know, you can go through your heart, you can get access to this energy of creation, of universal love. What is something that someone could, what practical action could they take to get in touch with that feeling, that sensation, that heart energy? What could they do over Christmas if they're, let's say, if they're by themselves or if they're with family? What kind of things could they do that would really help them to get in touch with that?
I mean, the best thing to do is to increase the awareness about themselves. So basically doing, let's say, doing a scan, an energetic scan, a body scan. How do I feel in this
How
situation?
do I feel in this situation?
And a lot of people still, some people still don't get confused between feelings and thoughts. So thoughts are not equal feelings.
Sure, that's a whole nother video, isn't it?
Yeah. So, but you asked me, so I would say, become aware of how you feel.
Okay.
On a physical level. Do you feel tired? Do you feel stressed? Do you feel energetic? Do you feel upset, happy, for example?
So it's observing.
So become the observer of what actually goes on. And then the next step is, what do I need at this point in time in order for me to feel back in balance? So if you think about it, we don't feel well, we don't feel happy because we are out of sync, we are out of balance.
Yeah.
So become aware and then figure out, what do I need at this point in time for me to be in balance? Because we can only help others, we can only sort of be of service, sounds very big, to others if we are in balance ourselves.
So let's use an example. Let's say that you're a busy mom or dad and you've got to cook Christmas dinner for everybody, and you're like totally stressed up to the eyeballs, and you notice that you're stressed, and you know that you need to kind of get back to your center. Then what we're saying is, you need to figure out for you what would help you to step back from that stress, or to like let it subside. Or...
And in a simple way could be to just simply express to others, says, hey, look, I'm really stressed. This is like a big responsibility, preparing lunch and God knows what.
I need some help.
I need some help. Can you do this? Or you are going to look after this right now. I just need to go outside for 5 minutes, take a few deep breaths, and maybe put my feet onto the grass, ground myself, and then come back. And that can make a massive difference. Of course, it is not a very common practice.
I think there are two things here. One is gradually over time, because you can't necessarily do it just like that, is building the ability to have that awareness, to notice how you're feeling. That in itself is a practice. It's not something that you can just magically do necessarily.
No.
If you don't have that awareness at the moment, it may be something that you need to build up over time, and that's okay. It's not everyone who can just be like, oh yeah, I feel really stressed at the moment. If you notice, you're already the observer.
Exactly. And very often we don't really notice when we are in this
until a bit later on.
And maybe also to make it, because Christmas, it is a time where we come together as a family. And again, I like to emphasize, it should not just be left to one particular time of the year, but somehow this is how it is. So if you notice someone else being totally stressed and losing their cool, let's say, maybe step towards that person and ask, hey, how are you? How can I help at this point in time? Or what's going on for you?
Sure.
Bringing that communication back again. That's the true spirit for me of Christmas.
I think so. And there are so many lessons to learn as well, because I'm thinking about my family, and often I'll observe a certain person getting very stressed because there's a lot to do, and I used to be like trying to force my help on that person. I was like, I don't want to see you suffering. And I would say, do you need my help? Shall I do this? Shall I wash the dishes? And actually that was more stress for that person.
Mm-hmm.
So I had to learn that truly helping someone is giving them what they're willing to receive.
Yeah.
They have to agree to what you're offering.
Yeah.
That was a big lesson for me.
Mm-hmm.
And then if that person complains later on, they complain. You know, it's their responsibility.
At least you have done your bit.
You've done your
you
bit.
Feel like, okay,
and you've at least shown some moral support.
And you have tried to reach out.
Yeah.
And another thing that I want to mention here is Christmas is often a time where we start to overeat and indulge.
No, I don't.
You don't?
No. Do you?
Well,
I remain totally slim. I just, eat, tiny little wafers of like Rivita crackers.
I will remind you in a couple of days. We have another conversation.
Well, let's just assume for a moment that we all overeat. Yes.
So what I definitely pack tomorrow is a nice piece of fresh organic ginger root. I'm gonna take some fresh ginger with me, because what helps me is just hot water with fresh ginger to sip through this. And again, walk, do some kind of physical activity. Outside activity, even if it rains, even if it's just 5-10 minutes of just getting out in the fresh air. Because we like to sit around and talk, it's all great. And then at the end of the day, we come home, or in the evening we feel so full, so heavy, we can't sleep properly.
That's right.
So oxygen, breathe, really go out, walk, have some hot water with fresh ginger.
Regularly during the day, right?
Yeah.
Just sipping it.
Yeah, because that will help to break down the food that we consume and the amount of cookies and cakes. And I mean, thank goodness, in a way, I feel being here, not with my family this year, in a way it's quite, I would have liked to be there, but that's how it is this year. But in a way I'm quite lucky, because I'm less tempted to eat all the cookies, because we haven't actually baked any cookies and stuff. But we have got a stollen.
Your homemade stollen is fantastic. But I just want to say, it's like, if you don't overeat all the time during the year, then I don't see why we should feel guilty for overeating.
See, there are two different things. Yeah. You can still eat and do whatever you like, and if you then feel guilty, then it makes it much worse.
So just go all out. If you're going to go all out, just go all out and deal with the consequences, but don't feel guilty about it.
Exactly. But for me, it's like I will go out in quotation marks, but no, I know myself. I get to a point where I just can't anymore, and then I know I need to just have my hot water with fresh ginger. So that's my safety net. But like Dan says, important, if you indulge, do not feel guilty about it, because you feeling guilty about it is much worse. It makes it much more worse.
Oh, I was gonna add to the walking thing that, especially in winter, in the northern hemisphere at least, when the days are really short, it's really good to get out first thing in the morning, get some sunlight in your eyes to really set your body's rhythm properly. And that will help you as well to feel less stressed during the day. So you don't have to just go for a walk after you've eaten, although that's really helpful. A quick 5-10 minute walk even in the morning is going to be really good to set the mood.
Absolutely. And also what you said, the sun gazing is very good. So when the sun is out, today we have got some sunshine, Yay! Just close your eyes and look with your closed eyes into the sun. So that will energize, it will calm your eyes.
Sure.
And it will provide the fuel for your cells and will support your metabolic activity.
But very important, with closed eyes, and don't look at the sun for so long that if you feel any discomfort or pain, right?
Of course.
It's very dangerous. So make sure you've got your eyes closed. Yeah, absolutely. Do you want to say something about alcohol? I mean, I know that you don't drink anymore because you find that it like really upsets your body, but almost everybody, a lot of people are going to be drinking alcohol over Christmas. So do you have any like health tips for recovering from like hangover, or how to not get a hangover in the first place, or anything, you know?
The only thing I can say is moderation and balance here, really.
Yeah.
So, and every person is different. Some people, they get very irritated, agitated, they start arguing. So maybe if that's the case in a family, and if there's a lot of consumption of alcohol, maybe good to say maybe slow down a little bit. But these are natural things. But other people, they get very happy and chirpy. But purely from a health perspective, it dries out your body, it dries out your system. So water is important. Drinking of good quality water to keep you hydrated.
Or just like cold water from the tap.
Yes, cold room temperature water rather than cold water from the tap. So good quality water, I would say.
So not ice.
No ice. I wouldn't suggest ice, because the ice will reduce your metabolic activity.
Okay. And make it even bigger. Oh, okay.
It will not prevent
if you eat lots of food.
The bloating and
I see. So hot water with ginger is good, is it?
Yeah, but even if you are not having hot water, room temperature water, but really stay hydrated if you choose to drink alcohol. And good is, of course, then afterwards to maybe do something that counteracts that overindulgence, whatever that means for you. I know for me, I will go back to, we've said that in the past video, but I will go back to intermittent fasting and slowing down in January. Usually January, I've got a couple of days, 3-4 days where I don't eat.
Why do you fast? Why do you do intermittent fasting? I know it's like a big buzzword and it's like really fashionable at the moment, but maybe you could just share with the audience some of the health benefits of fasting and intermittent fasting.
As we age, as we sort of mature, let's put it that way,
Our
metabolism starts to slow down. Okay. And intermittent fasting is a very, very good way to kickstart your metabolic activity.
Okay.
So that's number one. And because of that, speeding up of your metabolism allows the body to digest toxins, any unwanted waste that sits in the tissues.
Good.
So giving it a break. Let's just look at the fire, you know?
Yeah.
If I'm not careful, I can put some wood on the fire, but we won't get a proper flame.
And it will just go black.
It will just
and
all go
smoky.
black and smoky. And this is what happens with your digestion. So if you keep eating and don't allow the wood to be burned properly,
digested,
the fire will be extinguished and low flame, and that will cause lots of smoke.
Sure.
Which means, gas, digestion
of course.
issues.
Understood.
So that's one of the. Another thing is, it will really help to boost your immunity. It will make you feel. It will increase your energy levels. I don't know. What do you experience when you fast?
I hate fasting. I have to be honest. I hate, like, if it's longer than like 24-hour fast, I can just about manage. But anything longer than that, I find really tough. Because my serotonin levels drop drastically and I just feel so awful. Intermittent fasting, however, I find a lot easier because I'm not that hungry first thing in the morning.
Which means basically 16 fasting. To 8 hours. So 16-hour fast and eating within an 8-hour window.
Yeah, so if I eat lunch at like 2 o'clock, for example, and then have kind of a snack around 6, I'm okay most days. If I'm totally stressed out, then I want to run straight to the nearest donut and pastry first thing in the morning, I have to be honest. But when I'm stricter with myself, I can do the intermittent one. The more hardcore fasting is very, very beneficial, but I can only do that once or twice a year, I think, at the most.
That's where self-awareness comes in. So
Yeah.
if you are aware, even when I set myself the goal, okay, I'm going to fast for 36 hours now. And then it is, let's say, Monday afternoon, 5 o'clock, and I really struggle. I can't keep going. I feel headachy. Then I'm going to break the fast. So it's just being aware of what your body can do. And as you continue the regular fasting, it will get easier.
Sure.
I want to say also, your constitution is primarily pitta. So
Very
pitta
fiery.
people naturally are very fiery, and they find it more challenging to do prolonged fasting.
Sure.
So
Was that the fire or was that your stomach rumbling?
I think it was my tummy rumbling.
It's getting close to lunchtime, isn't it? Maybe we should wrap up and make some lunch, I think.
Let's wrap up.
On that note, yeah, it's very interesting how these festivals, how these social conventions and spiritual times of the year bring up so much for discussion and for examination, if we want to look.
So maybe as a final message for the next few days, be open to receive the understanding of the true meaning of Christmas. Be open to receive the light of source, the light of grace, and be gentle with yourself, be forgiving for yourself and for others, and try to take Christmas on to another level, because it's our attitude, it's our behavior towards the others that reflects on the others.
Yeah,
so if
and
we
has a ripple effect.
Exactly, if we sort of take a different approach rather than focusing on the meals that we eat and the gifts and the presents that we give and the blaming that goes on when family comes together, just maybe make a difference and bring in another element of what we have discussed in the last 20 something minutes.
Yeah, and it's not just the name. Christmas is a name.
Yeah,
I mean, this kind of what should we call it? Spiritual, for want of a better word, although I don't like the word spiritual very much. This kind of love energy festival happens in so many cultures across the world.
Of course, we have just had
names.
Diwali, for example,
Diwali.
the Festival of Light, which celebrated the victory of the light over the dark. So,
that's right. Yeah.
But in essence, it is about that light that comes in.
Yeah.
And light means knowledge, means understanding, means connection to source. That's and it will all, and this light contributes for us to become a better version of ourselves.
And we've just passed the shortest day of the year. We did our wonderful cacao ceremony yesterday to mark solstice. And from today, the days in the Northern Hemisphere are getting longer and longer, and the light is coming back in. So,
there we are.
There we go. Thank you very much for listening to us ramble on.
Have a wonderful... This is really...
It's like an earthquake. Oh my God.
We better get going.
I'm going to go and
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
And have a great start into 2023.
Bye.
Big hugs.